I've heard Steve many times, and I've preceded him in speaking, and I followed him, and neither one of them is particularly attractive. But I do promise you this: there'll be less numbers and less hypothesis, but equal passion and commitment to the issue. One of the underlying principles of the comments that I'm going to bring to, and it's by way of introducing the coordination of the opposition to the sale in the province, is that there's been a tremendous misread, I believe, and not only I believe this, but a lot of people believe this, that the government has attempted to take advantage perhaps of an apathetic population, and that they've tried to take advantage of a population that over the last 30 years has been systematically pushed out of public debate, pushed out of robust debate in the community on matters and issues that matter most to them. And I think that what has happened here is the sale of NB Power has, or the proposed sale of NB Power and or its assets has served as a lightning rod. And New Brunswickers are awakening to the fact that business as usual and politics as usual in this province is coming to an end. My name is Tom Mann, and I just need to make a correction in my introduction, Rob. I am a vice president of the New Brunswick Federation of Labour. There are 17 vice presidents. The first vice president happened to be sitting right here, Ron Oldfield from the St. John District Labour Council. So, what is the coalition of New Brunswickers, NB Power Not for Sale? Well, it's very simple. It's a coalition of citizens of New Brunswick opposed to the sale of NB Power and or its assets. Who are we? Well, it's community-based, it's inclusive, it's bilingual, it's non-partisan. It includes seniors, environmentalists, concerned citizens, labor, Aboriginal groups. This is a photo of representatives of a number of groups within the coalition, which also includes a 30,000 citizen-based Facebook group. But this group here, if I had more time, I'd go through who they all are, but they're New Brunswickers. And as a group, they represent over 165,000 New Brunswickers. So we're not alone here. You know, we don't have to believe we're alone. And I have to ask you, when do you think the last time we had this many New Brunswickers engaged in an issue? You know, was it Confederation? Was it the two World Wars? Was it equal opportunity in the early 1960s? I suggest to you not, because the results of the debate thus far have polarized New Brunswickers, the vast majority of New Brunswickers, against this deal. If you recall back just before Christmas, the Liberals released a poll that said 60% of New Brunswickers were against the deal. We haven't heard anything from them since, have we? That suggests to me that the number has actually gone up. You know, there's an unofficial report from a number of sources that the Liberals have taken a poll, and if there was an election tomorrow, 7 of them would be able to retain their jobs. But this isn't about that. The coalition is nonpartisan, and the reason for that is simple. That everyone around that table and everyone in this province needs to understand that no single one group can wage the challenge by themselves. This is much bigger than the individual parts. And as a coalition, you can appreciate there's been some rough spots. And there's been people who have played by different rules, even though when they said they understand the rules. But keeping people's focus on the prize. The goal here is to stop this sale for all the reasons that Eve laid out. You know, it has been ill-conceived and conceived not necessarily in the best interest of New Brunswickers in the future. So the coalition is to coordinate. Very simple. You know, coordinate and cultivate the opposition. And it was born out of a summit in December, on December 9th in Moncton, hosted by the Federation of Labour. It was a summit of discussion. And what was readily apparent to everybody in that room that was, oh my God, we're all saying just about the same thing, but I found out that we're all doing our own thing. And you know, we have limited resources as New Brunswickers. Number one, we don't even have the resource of being able to participate in a robust discussion. But the government is paying and using millions of our taxpayers' money, our money, to in fact sell this deal back to us. We need to coordinate the resources that we do have. We need to educate. Forums like this. I believe Yves himself, in the month of January, spent, was it 11 evenings, 11, 12 evenings across the province. There have been town hall sessions throughout the province with other speakers. There have been other activities, all with the idea of educating. The reason why is that if you read the 3 English daily newspapers in this province, you would believe that this deal is done. You know, we were told this deal was done, there were no more negotiations until the cabinet minister in Quebec City said, oh no. Or when Sean Graham was saying, no, we can still negotiate. And the cabinet minister said, no, there's no more negotiation, it's a done deal. The fact of the matter is we have to believe it's not a done deal. And we have to educate ourselves. Because a lot of people are want to believe that our government would never do this to us. We have to mobilize. You know, holding these opinions to ourselves and chatting just with our neighbor isn't enough. I said this was, the coalition was nonpartisan, and we attempt to separate the issue from the politics, but the fact is, the solution is going to be very political. It's going to come down to votes in the Legislative Assembly. As a matter of fact, it's going to come down to maybe 6 people in this province. You know, 6 to win, 5 to tie. You know, to reverse the order in the Legislative Assembly. And all of the activities of the partners in the coalition and all other concerned New Brunswickers are all designed to put pressure on our politicians. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. What Yves is able to do, and many and others like Yves, they're able to say, here are the reasons why. Now, what do we do with that information? What do we do with that education? Well, we have to mobilize. Because this government wants to take advantage of our apathy, our past apathy. And we have to stay on message. MV Power Not for Sale. There's a lot of big-time distractions. You know, the Ganong report last week was a distraction to the message. And it's important to analyze what the Ganong report said. But Mr. Ganong is not the enemy. You know, Jean Charest and the Quebec government is not the adversary here. The deal for New Brunswickers is being made in Fredericton by Sean Graham. And his party is the one that has to be, has to get this message. What happens after March 31st or whatever arbitrary date they set in terms of his political career? Quite frankly, the coalition doesn't care. The focus is very simple. Stop this deal so we can have a sober analysis and create that energy strategy that's required.